Hey y'all, my name is Carla Medrano, aka Moon the Storyteller, and I tell stories. And I want to help you tell your stories and sell them. To one, I am a wife. To another, I am a mom. To thousands more, I am a nurse, a voice actor, a creator. And to you, I want to be your comic book marketer. So back in 2022, I pivoted from bedside nursing and decided to combine my knowledge and skills and my love for social media to help healthcare professionals market their products and services. Over the course of 2 years, I earned $100,000 plus as a part-time healthcare marketer. And when I started writing my own comic book, Luna, I poured all that I knew into ensuring that Luna saw the same success as my clients. As a result, Luna has had 2 successful Kickstarter launches, and most recently, I took lead on the marketing strategy behind the largest indie crossover event in history, the Epiphany Engine. That initiative raised over $60,000 in just 30 days. Joseph Illich, an award-winning Milestone and DC Comics writer and editor, gave me the title, The Misty Night of Marketing. So, I ain't new to this, y'all. All right, welcome to episode 7. Crafting the perfect hook to find new readers. So before I get into this week's marketing tip, I want to update you on my comic book marketing course. If you haven't already, please join my email community so you won't miss out. It will be launching January 20th, 2025, and I'm looking for beta students to test out the first iteration. We will cover how to develop and craft your unique brand voice, building out your sales funnel, content strategy, how to launch a successful crowdfunding campaign, how to secure sponsorships, and more. Basically, it's everything you need to know to scale your comic book business this year. If you're interested, then make sure you sign up for my email list. The link can be found in the show notes or in my bio. I'm not quite sure where you're listening or watching this, but the link is there. All right, so this week, we're going to talk about how to craft the perfect hook. So when you think about selling your comic book, I'm sure you've always heard that you should lead with a hook, right? That is definitely a technique that works, but are you crafting the perfect hook for your audience? All right, so let's take a moment to think about who our readers are, right? And of course, depending on the type of genre you write in, of course, this is going to change, right? But in general, let's talk about who the comic book community is comprised of, right? What are our main qualities that I'm sure transcends genre, transcends culture? Comic book readers, for the most part, right, we love to question. We love to question. We're very curious. We're passionate about our beliefs. We love to push boundaries, and we love to support one another, right? I'm pretty sure I just described you, right? Well, there are millions of us around the world, right, that are like this, right? That's why we love comic books so much. And of course, our audience is not comprised of a million people, right? But all we're really looking for is a few hundred, maybe even a few thousand that can support our work on a continued basis. But that's a whole nother podcast. But what I want you to focus on is the fact that, these traits that we want to really appeal to when we're crafting these hooks, right? So if your hook doesn't really appeal to one of those traits, then it may not be effective. Okay. And I'm actually, let me kind of rewind. Let me rewind because some of you may not even know what a hook is, HOOK. Basically, a hook is kind of like an attention grabber, right? It's designed, it's something you say like right off the bat. If you're doing a video, you'll say, hey, blah, 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 blah. And that's supposed to stop people in their tracks, right? If you are creating a post, then your post, will say, oh, XYZ. So that's what we call a hook. It's basically you're trying to hook people's attention and take them along this ride that you've created for them, right? So that's what a hook is. So let's get back to main content. So, okay, so we love to question, we're curious, we're passionate, we love to push boundaries, we love to support one another. So our hook has to appeal to one of those qualities. Simple as that. It has to appeal to one of those qualities. And if it doesn't, then most likely it's not going to be effective. Okay. So I just kind of pulled out 3 of these qualities that I want to focus on, right? And I think this is a really good format and framework for your hooks that you will create now that you're building out your content strategy. So the first one is, how do we appeal to a reader's curiosity? So there are many different ways to appeal to someone's curiosity, right? But the easiest way to do this is by sharing data, concrete data, like in the form of a statistic. A single statistic can make someone stop scrolling and ask, wait, what? And then boom, you got their attention, right? For example, the other day on Threads, and by the way, I'm falling in love with Threads. They are really, that algorithm is a beast over there, but I love Threads. But other day I was on Threads and I started off the caption with, less than 1% of mainstream comic book writers are Black women. And this statistic caught the attention of 523 people. It received 36 likes, 6 comments, and I think one of those 3 of those comments were mine. So I would say 3 comments, and then 12 reposts. Right? To me, that's a successful post. That to me, that is a successful post, especially the fact that 12 people wanted to reshare it to their audiences. So that was a successful post. So that statistic was very effective. It caught people's attention, and it really piqued their curiosity. Like, wait a minute, what? So next, how do we appeal to a reader's passion? How do we appeal to their passion? Again, there's so many ways to do this, but the easiest way to do this is appealing to their emotions, right? Appeal to their emotions. So you can only imagine the emotions that people felt after reading that statistic about how less than 1% of mainstream comic book writers are Black women. Some were in shock. I'm sure some were disappointed, while others continue to feed into their curiosity by reading further into the post. All right. Finally, how do we appeal to our readers' sense of community? Right? We want to support one another. How do we appeal to that sense of community? Well, we want to end the hook with some sort of action. For example, what are we doing about this? What do we want them to do about it? So once you pique their curiosity and hook them emotionally, tell them what to do next. Whether it's checking out your comic book, visiting your Kickstarter, joining your email list, tell them what you want them to do next. All right. So statistics aren't just numbers. They're actually stories in disguise, or, the beginning of stories that you can tell, right? And it can take your reader on the ride that you've created for them. Okay. I always imagine like a statistic or some really great, some other type of hook can, it's like the beginning of a roller coaster. You know how you step into the car, and then it goes slow. And then boom, you start going up the hill, and then it takes you down and twists you all which way and all this stuff. That's basically what you're trying to do to your readers. You're trying to grab them and hold them hostage until you get them to do what you want. And yes, it of course is some sort of, it is manipulation, right? You're manipulating their experience on social media. And I hate to say it that way, but you are. Like, you are kind of taking them and holding them hostage and taking them down this road that you want them to go on. But unlike true blue manipulators, you're actually taking them down a road that at the end can change their life for the better, right? But you kind of trick them into to coming down this road with you. And that's really as simple as that. So if you are a comic book creator struggling to create content, then give it a try. Use statistics, right? Use stories. Use a brief story. You can even use a quote. It might be a controversial quote, right? But basically you want to hook them into your this ride that you're about to take them on. Just like you did in your comic book. Don't say you don't know what I'm talking about, because you did the same thing with your comic book. You created this story, this world, you sucked us in, and you took us on a ride, right? That's the same thing you're doing with your content strategy. All right, so let's recap. Comic book readers are curious, passionate, and supportive. So you want to craft a hook that can pique curiosity, appeal to an emotion, and encourage action. So I've provided the example of using statistics, but you can also use a brief story, a quote, or a question. Whatever you do, remember your audience, and tailor it to them. And always remember, this is your season. So if you enjoy this podcast, make sure you subscribe. And then don't forget to join my email list. All right, until next week.